Reporters covering the White House today took cover as shots were fired nearby this afternoon. Secret Service agents said a man opened fire at a security checkpoint before agents shot back and killed him. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jennifer Meckles. Secret Service says the shooting happened just after 6 p.m. when a man approached the checkpoint and then started firing at officers at the White House. The agency also said a bystander was shot as well. It is unclear whose bullets hit the bystander, and their condition is unknown tonight. President Trump was at the White House at the time of the shooting outside. He was not injured, nor were any Secret Service agents injured. NBC News reports the suspect had a documented history with local law enforcement and a history of mental health concerns. This is a developing story. We will continue to update you on the networks of 9 News and 9news.com. Back here in Colorado, let's take a live look outside on a Saturday night. Warm weather has really settled into our area. You're looking outside of downtown Denver tonight. People across the state will be headed outside, soaking up the sun during this long holiday weekend. Corey Reppenhagen joining us now. What a nice break from the rain of last week.
Yeah, perfect timing, right? Let up right for the weekend, and we've got a ton of people that are going to be out doing those holiday barbecues. We've got youth sports, we've got hiking, we've got a lot of things outdoors over the next couple of days, and we are good on the weather despite just a little bit of moisture coming through the atmosphere. I'll describe that coming up in the forecast, but take a live look here across the city of Denver right now where the temperatures are still pretty warm. 71 still at 9 News. We're in the 60s in the other areas of the town, and tomorrow morning is going to be just a little bit warmer than it's been the last 4 or 5 days, with those temperatures getting a little bit closer to 50 for those low temperatures. In the afternoon, we're going to be in the 80s, maybe close to 90 degrees on some parts of the eastern plains. And the next 3 days here in Denver, we're just going to have a few isolated sprinkles and showers, nothing to really get concerned about until we get to about Wednesday. So I'll detail that coming up in just a few minutes, Jenny.
All right, Corey, thank you. Colorado's rivers are in some real trouble this summer. The Department of Agriculture says runoff from May through July could come in at just 24% of normal. 9 News reporter Colton Chavez shows us why the Colorado Water Trust hopes this year the people who depend on a lot of Colorado's water can actually help us out.
In an average year, we still have rivers in need, but this year we're going to see it.
Colorado Water Trust says they don't like what they see when it comes to this year's river levels.
What we're seeing is the threat of rivers going completely dry.
Kate Ryan runs the nonprofit and says it's caused by Colorado's record low snowpack this winter. So this summer, she's asking people who depend on water to share it.
So most farming and ranching does pull their water from our rivers, and that water is melted snow.
Kate says the nonprofit is offering farmers short-term paid agreements to leave water in the river instead of diverting it to their fields, with legal protections in place so their water rights aren't permanently affected.
We also have 25 ongoing projects around the state. And so we are going to be putting water back into rivers this year for sure.
But Kate says even that won't be enough to keep things rolling.
Even some of those projects that we normally would operate, there may not be enough water to even get down the stream to where we would be protecting that water in the river.
She says for farmers already facing a tough season, leaving water in the river might actually pay more than using it.
We have a rancher who we've worked with in the past, and he puts it really well. He'll be like, well, you know, some years, he says, my barn is full of hay and my wallet's empty. So yes, I definitely want to do it.
For the Colorado Water Trust, they say how they're going to measure success for this year is based on what a select few rivers look like. The Colorado, the Yampa, and even right here at Boulder Creek. And if it works, Kate says she likes what that could look like.
Hopefully the types of projects we work on at Colorado Water Trust are great for rivers.
And great for both sides.
But they're also good for agriculture and the economies and communities that depend on it.
From Boulder, Colton Chavez, 9 News.
An 18-year-old is dead following a crash involving a semi that rolled over on I-70 this morning. That crash closed the eastbound lanes of I-70 for hours. The road has since reopened tonight. Wheat Ridge police say the semi rolled over between Ward Road and Kipling around 2:40 a.m. today. 4 other vehicles were also involved in the crash. In addition to the teenager who died, 3 other people suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries. We do not know who exactly was driving the semi or what they were carrying. There is an investigation ongoing into the crash. 4 people are dead today after a shooting inside a home in Thornton overnight. We're learning 2 adults and a child were killed before the suspected shooter then died by suicide. Thornton police say a man shot and killed 3 of his family members. 9 News reporter Spencer Soicher has more on what we know so far about this investigation.
Engine 76, medic 76.
A little after 8 o'clock last night, Thornton police officers were called to a home at 139th and Harrison Street after a family member reported multiple people inside the home were unresponsive. Scanner audio between a dispatcher and the Thornton Fire Department alludes to what happened next.
Copy that. Further notes are requesting us to stage, and there's 3 parties down. Is that affirmative?
What was initially broadcast on the scanner as 3 people shot grew to 4.
Can you count an additional med unit?
By morning, Thornton police said 4 people were dead. When officers entered the home, they say they found 4 people with gunshot wounds. 2 adult men, 1 adult woman, and 1 minor, a boy. Thornton police believe a 33-year-old man shot and killed 3 of his family members Friday night. The incident's being investigated as a triple homicide with a shooter who died by suicide.
That was Spencer Soicher reporting. Now, Thornton police told us the suspect was not the person who called in the shooting to police. Right now, it's not clear what kind of relationship was between the suspected shooter and these 3 family members. Police have not publicly identified the shooter or the victims. A woman has been arrested and is now facing murder charges in connection to the death of a 22-year-old yesterday. Lone Tree police say they were called to an apartment in the 9900 block of Train Station Circle around 7:25 a.m. This was a domestic disturbance they were responding to. Officers found a 22-year-old Colorado Springs man who was injured and bleeding. He later died at the hospital. Police say 20-year-old Lovely Rucker was questioned, then later arrested. And now she faces a number of felony charges, including first-degree murder and second-degree assault. Okay, so first it was a bobcat roaming the neighborhoods of Centennial, and now a mountain lion. 9 News viewers sent us some Ring camera video showing the animal just strolling right through their backyard up some stairs on the deck. Colorado Parks and Wildlife says officers tranquilized the mountain lion, then released it into a much better suited habitat. CPW says this is a good reminder. Please do whatever you can to avoid attracting wildlife to your home.